What's up, everybody? Kimberly Olson here, coming in live, also known as the Gold Digger Girl. And today I have a special treat for all of my gold diggers, as promised. I have a guest on today, Allie Bjerk. Is that how I say it?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I'm going to put her name on the screen so you can see it. All right, Allie. So I just want to welcome you on. Thank you for being on, girlfriend.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. It's so funny how things work when you look back and you're like, it was meant to be. And I'll tell everybody the story about how I got introduced to you, but I'm going to welcome them on really quick. So if you guys just tuning on, why don't you guys let me know where you're coming in from, our city, state, province. I'd love to see where our viewers are at today. Also, let me know if you're able to catch this live. If you guys are just out and about and you're catching the replay, this will be obviously up after this. And then, if you know anybody, if you happen to know anyone who is on social media, which I'm guessing a lot of you know people on social media, feel free to let them know that this is going on right now because people will want to hear this content. And I got to tell you, I feel like I really understand social media, but when I stumbled upon what Allie was doing on social media, I was like, oh my gosh, I need her help. So I actually found out about Allie through a Facebook ad. So ads do work. And I usually, like, my resolve goes down. I don't know about you, but like towards midnight when I'm working on stuff, 1 o'clock, I'm like, yeah, I'll just scroll for a minute. And so I was scrolling and I saw she had this really great freebie for your content creation for your Facebook Live topics if you wanted to go live every day. And this is so crazy. Literally, I was just toying around with the idea of starting Gold Digger Dailies, where I would go live and stories. And I saw your calendar and I was like, I got to have it. So I bought it right away. Yeah, good job. And then I started getting your emails and I'm like, oh my gosh, she has like project management for your funnels. So I'm just like a huge fan. So
thank you.
Allie tell you guys a little bit about her, but she, you probably can say it better than I can, but she's basically a visibility specialist. So she helps you to get your message out there, to expand your reach, to make sure you're consistent with how you're delivering what you want to say, your content, are you offering value? All the things that I'm always teaching. And it's perfect timing because I know a lot of you participated in the influencer workshop we did last night, which was incredible. And a lot of you were like, okay, now what do I do? So I think having Allie come in today is perfect timing. So Allie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome.
Why don't you share with them a little bit about who you are, your story, and how you got into what you're doing today?
Okay, I'll have to give you the shortened version because if I told you the long one, we would be here for like hours.
Okay.
As everybody knows, when you come into online business, or in business in general, you might start in one area and then pivot and then realize you have other passions. And, so I've been in business for probably, I think, 5 or 6 years. I started my business when my first son was born, just not wanting to send him back to daycare and feeling really heartbroken about, that whole thing. I have 3 babies now, so it's been a while. And they're 7, 4, and 2. And I get to work at home and they're running around upstairs with my nanny and it's just like this dream life, but it's taken a really long time to get to this point. So, I'm super excited about what I'm working on right now. I am a visibility strategist. I help people figure out how they want to show up for their businesses, like what their stories are, what kind of marketing strategy they want to use. Because what I realized in other iterations of my business, I've worked as a funnel strategist or an ad strategist, even doing SEO and social media management. So like,
my gosh, you're super smart.
Gamut. Yes. But, well, thank you. But it's debatable some days. But what I realized, I'd work on these like full launch strategies for businesses on, things they wanted to create and offer. And there was like this falling off point where they wouldn't show up for themselves, right? Like we'd have live scheduled or we'd have things that they needed to do to bring the launch to fruition and they just couldn't do it. So I realized like there's this whole confidence piece behind visibility and this like fear of judgment and fear of showing up and being visible that creating the live stream calendar was really the best solution I could find for people because so many people are saying like, oh, I don't know what to say. And what if my family's watching? Like, this is weird. So it was like giving them the things to say and then, the strategy behind how to feel confident behind what they're doing. That's a shortened version.
Wow. Okay. So when you said SEO and all that, were you working for a company or was this for yourself? Or how did you get into online marketing?
So I went to school for graphic design and specialized in marketing. And my first job, one of my first jobs out of school was working for a marketing agency doing SEO, like managing SEO for 40 different clients.
Holy smokes.
And I didn't know what SEO meant when they interviewed me. Like, I can learn that.
Is that short for, what's that for? Yeah.
Search engine optimization.
SEO, and it's a thing. It's an animal. So that was a huge launching pad for you to get into the space and go, okay, I've got my training wheels off and I can run with this and design my own thing. And I'm like you, that was my number one driver to work so hard when I was working for a corporate, is to be able to quit and be home with my kids too. Like it's become like a gazelle and you're just like, I got to be home with these kids and these babies. So I think that's awesome. So when you ventured onto online for yourself, did you start consulting right away? Did you did you start creating products? Like, how did you get started as an entrepreneur?
I did not start with consulting or creating products. That's what I always wanted to do. But I started I started doing website design. So designing WordPress sites for people, managing their social media. I think I was managing like full social media campaigns for like $180 a month or something like silly low. So, but just because, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing and who was going to trust me as an expert. So like, I think the biggest thing for me was like all of these mindset hurdles in growing the business that I knew I was capable of, but like knowing that the biggest block was
yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. It's so common. And I know I've gone through it myself too. I just was that in the workshop last night. I was like, if you guys get into coaching, please don't charge $100 a session. Like, it's just so funny how you look back and you're like, I can't even believe I did that, because you at the time, it's not even about that person whether they're willing not to pay that. It's your own thinking around it that, oh my gosh, they would never pay that. And then and they pay it. And then you attract the clients that you want to work with anyway. It's so crazy. Yeah. So for the people watching, my audience, I know them very well. This is where most of them are at. You guys can chime in and let me know. So why don't you guys let me know, when it comes to social media on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is I don't even post anything, Kimberly. I share other people's stuff. I might comment and watch videos like this, but I'm doing nothing. Okay, let me know with that number. Let me know about that. And then if you're just like, I'm on it, I'm crushing it, I'm an influencer, I feel amazing, I could teach this topic right now, I want you to put a 10. Okay, so we can kind of see the range of where we're at. So when it comes to your social media, this is, Allie, where I think a lot of them are at. They see me or people like you that are visible and are doing it. And a lot of them are in direct sales, but a lot of them also like the idea of expanding a little bit too, or they want to grow their influence on social media to attract people to their network marketing business. So some of them do other things too, like online coaching. So when it comes to social media and getting started, they're overwhelmed. They're like, I don't know what to post. I don't even know, like, do I need a logo? Like, what do I do? Do I have to do Facebook Live? So can you talk to them a little bit about some advice on getting started, or what you tell clients when you start working with them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is like pick the one domino that can knock over all the other dominoes, which for me was live streams, because I can do a live stream and then I can transcribe it and turn it into a quote card and then actually like post a quote that I said on a live stream, just to start building that authority. Because a lot of people, they're posting other people's stuff, and it's just a little bit different angle when you're posting your own, you're like quotable. So you're an influencer and you're worth quoting. I mean, so it's like, it even just the shift in my own brain of like, okay, I'm going to post my stuff instead of sharing somebody else's, but then you can recycle it into, like transcribe your live stream into a blog post, or put it as a long form post on, Instagram or Facebook or wherever you want to share it. That, I mean, if you can only show up for one thing per week, like if you have your one thing that you can do a live stream just once a week, and then you can start building habits of like, this is my benchmark. This is where I started. Okay, now I'm going to go for 2 times a week, or now I'm going to go for 3 times a week. And you just keep building on that. But I mean, it's like dieting, right? Where you're like, oh, I'm not going to eat any sugar and I'm not going to have any soda. And you go all out. I'm going to work out 7 days a week, but then you fall off the wagon because you put too much pressure on yourself to do all the things perfectly right away. So if you can start with, maybe I'm going to add a salad once a day, or add a live stream once a week, you can start building or gradually. And then it's not as intimidating, and you don't go super all in for a week and then no one sees you for 3 weeks after that because you're exhausted.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a nutritionist and I don't do much with consulting anymore, but I do work for a health and wellness company. I'm a brand influencer, and it's so true. Like, I'll get the people who are like, well, I made it till Wednesday and then I ate really bad, so I'm going to start next week. And I'm like, why not just start the next
right week? Yeah, exactly.
And so I think I'm seeing a lot of people, they'll do these like 7-day or 14-day or a month-long Facebook Live challenges, which I think it's good because it gets them comfortable, but then they stop and they do nothing. And I like the idea of like, ask yourself honestly, you guys, like, look in your calendar and commit what day, what time every week. And if your calendar fluctuates, you can still book it out. So you're like, okay, well, this week is Monday at 8. The week after is Tuesday at noon. Like that's okay until you can start getting consistent with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really great advice of like, pick what you can do now and then grow from there. So the other thing that comes with that is people ask me, what do I talk about? Because like you, with that mindset that you had to work through, a lot of them are afraid to, I don't want to say afraid, but they feel that this is what I hear a lot. They don't know what to talk about, but they also feel like people won't care. Like, who am I to talk about, organization or self-development or goals? And they feel that they don't have the authority or experience to talk about that. What would you say to them to say, just do it? What advice do you have?
Basically just that, like just do it. like just pick, 3 or 4 pillars of content that you feel like you're an expert in, and then just go for it and try to put other people's judgments out of your mind, because they just have their own stuff, and that's why people would think anything negative about you. But just show up authentically as yourself. And if even one person can get value out of what you're saying, then it's totally worth it, because somebody out there somewhere needs to hear the message that you want to share. Mm-hmm. in my opinion. And then like I wear this necklace. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little gold key. Like you have the key to your success. So like get yourself what's it called? A memento, whatever. One of those little things. Yeah. Just to like hold on to it and be like, I'm brave. I can do scary things. And it doesn't even have to be, it could be like a crystal. I've seen people put crystals in their pockets just for like that little hidden power that, you don't really necessarily need it, but if it's going to give you the oomph to just have the courage to get out there, then it's worth it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I have a rock in here.
I've got one back there.
Yeah, and I remember there was a story. Was it? I can't remember what it was, but he was holding the rock in his pocket because someone had to him and said whatever. And it's true. Like you just have that little thing that you feel, it helps you feel a little more confident. And also too, I try to tell people, just pretend you're talking to like if your target audience is a mom, just pretend you're sitting down having coffee with her and she's on the other side of your cell phone if you're doing your Facebook Live from there. Like remember real people watching you. It's seriously, I've never lost of it. I've never lost a person yet. Like everybody's gotten through the Facebook Live.
Right.
And most of them go, wow, what a rush. Like, I can't believe I did it. I'm so proud of myself. Like, even if they're nervous, I'll get like just so much excitement afterwards with it. So when it comes to visibility, because I know that's your strength, what are some things that people can do to grow their audience?
I think consistency is a big thing. We touched on it a little bit, but just, if you can set the same time every single week, then all of a sudden it becomes a selling tool too, because if you have a new client or customer potential coming in, you can refer them to this live and be like, every Wednesday at noon, if you're interested in this topic, I'm there talking about it. So you use it as like an anchor for everything else that you're doing. And you just keep showing up for that. And of course, like personal outreach, I'm sure you talked like inviting people in if you're just getting started. If you have an email list, like let them know that you're going live. If you use a messenger bot, just like it's more fun when people are there live, obviously. So inviting people in to chat with you makes it feel more natural versus just like, not talking to yourself or feeling awkward and like, oh, how long have I been live? Okay, I think I'm done.
Live.
Yeah, right. So I think just like knowing that it could be a gradual process, but if that's your call to action on everything else you do, like, oh, check out my video on Wednesday or the show or, whatever content you're sharing, the consistency makes it a lot easier to bring people in.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So when it comes to the day-to-day, because you mentioned mindset and whatnot, I think that my entrepreneurs are very creative and a lot of them are moms, and whether they go to work and they're trying to build this business from their cell phone or they ones at home and they're trying to find time to not do the laundry or, be with their kids. Like you said, you've got, nanny, so you're doing this right now. Are there any tools you have or anything that they can utilize to help them stay organized with their social media or their marketing? Because you guys, social media is online marketing. So if you're like, I'm not a marketer, yes, you are. I believe you are. Right. Tools or anything like that you have that can help them?
Yeah, totally. So I'm a big fan of Trello. So, if people use Trello, yes. So, laying out different ideas in Trello and just making sure that you know what you want to do on a daily basis. And then I also have a daily checklist that they might be able to check out from this
Maybe.
There you go. That can just help you figure out, and it has like different things that might not all make sense for your business, but you can pick and choose. Like, okay, I'm going to do so much or so many outreaches per day. Be nice if I could talk. Or I'm going to post on my Instagram. I'm going to do 5 stories a day. Or you just start setting your own benchmarks of where you want to start, and then put it in the checklist and figure out every day. Even if I'm doing it from the pickup line at school, like I'm still going to get this done because I've it and I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah, I do that too. As soon as I pull over, or if I'm getting ready to pick them up from school, I'll quick go my stories and post to my stories because I just show up throughout the day in stories. And I think sometimes people think that we're doing all of these things that we're not doing. You know what I mean? It's like a loose. How is she doing all that stuff? And I'm like, it's not a lot of stuff. It's just the same thing every single day. But I just always do it. It's a non-negotiable. I'm just like, of course I would send birthday messages to people, I would respond back to comments. So she has this really awesome freebie that it'll be in ManyChat for you if you do this. So just click that, and then keep an eye out for her emails too, because I've been receiving them, and she has so much value and content and things that she adds there. So this all stems from mindset, guys. So when you start doing it, you will get confident through the process of posting and doing your lives. You're not going to feel confident the first day. You're actually going to feel like, should I post this? You'll be hesitant to hit the button. So Allie, is there anything that you do daily, or that you did, if you recall back in the day when you were starting this out, that you did to work on your mindset? Like, are you big into writing down affirmations or listening to podcasts? Like, what are some of the things you like to do?
I like to get up before my kids and journal, because it lets me just set the tone for my day. And one thing that I do when I'm journaling is like journaling from a higher perspective of like, if I already had the business that I want to have in the future, how would I solve this problem? Or how would I act if I were already the person that I want to become and run the business that I want to have? So just like almost that law of attraction type stuff, if you want to get a little woo-woo, but like
they're used to doing that.
Okay, good. So like journaling daily, and just like setting my intention for how I want to feel that day, gratitude for everything that I already have, and then what I want it to look like in the future. That was like a game changer for me when I was just starting to get more into like growing my business.
I think that's so awesome. And you just have to find time for it, guys, of what's going to work for you. Like, I used to get up before them when I used to drive to my real job. And now I find it, for me, it's better. I know when I used to my job, because I couldn't do it at my work because people would come to my office. So I had to get up before them, which was really hard to do because it was pretty early, but I did it. And then once I started working from home, because you guys know I stay up late. So after I get them off at preschool, I come home, and before I start working on things, I sit on my couch where you guys see my lives. And it's kind of like my safe little place. And I'll meditate, or I'll write down, like you, like I'll say, I'm so happy and grateful now, that talking about the things I want to manifest in my life. And so your activity is really, really cool, because when you start thinking about who you want to become, you're telling your subconscious mind that you are that person. And so what it tries to do is create situations to get you there. So it's really, really powerful. Plus it just makes you feel good. It kind of makes you step up your game a little bit, which I think is really cool. Okay. So this is the last question I'll ask, and then you can tell them how they can connect, how you can help, how they could work with you. But if you go back to when you launched into entrepreneurship, what advice do you want to extend to my viewers that you wish you would have known when you decided to jump in?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I want to say be patient and like just keep doing the thing. Yes. Because my husband yells at me not yells at me, you know what I mean? Subtly reminds me gently, nicely to be patient with the process, and like trust the process, that if you just keep doing the things and keep showing up and keep, taking the baby steps forward, you're going to get there eventually. So don't get down on yourself if you feel a gap between where you want to be and where you are.
That's great. And I read somewhere, and I read this in a book for network marketers, but I think it applies to entrepreneurs as well. He said that the average person gives up around the 6-week mark, and the average kind of breakthrough where they start to actually see some results is week 8. Oh, wow. But if you would have just held on for 15 more days. Yeah. Because, and even myself, like, it's so weird, but when you look around, you're like, how did I attract this and have this life? just happen in one day. It's just all those things you do every day, they add up. And then one day you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, I've arrived. Like you're not, there, you never stop, but you created this life that you want, that you thought you were never going to have. Like all that time that I was working and driving and thinking I wanted this better life and imagined, I was like, I'm never going to be able to quit my job. And then you do, and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally created that. So I think it's just, constantly having that mindset and sticking with it, which is huge. So right. That's awesome. So if people watching, you guys to connect with her and find out her website and all that stuff, it's in Messenger. But why don't you tell them, Allie, what you can do with, so they can search you. If they want to work with you, what services do you offer? Because a lot of them are like, help me, coach me, like tell me what to do.
Help. But I work with people really in 3 different tracks. I have products and templates and stuff to help you get a kickstart if you're in that level where you're still doing it yourself. I have the shop listed on my website. And then I also coach and consult with people who just want to plan. We could do a business intensive and map it all out. Or I work with people on a longer basis where, they need accountability and support for like 12 weeks or 6 months. There's that option. Otherwise, I have an agency too that just helps people do the thing and, hand it off to somebody else.
Okay. So if I've got any people who are like, I'm willing to spend the money, I just don't even understand any of this stuff. Because you guys, she does full on everything, not just social media. So think of your freebie that leads to your sales funnel, right? And then you can and then you have your paid thing. Like she has all of it, the website and the email list, right? You have full service, all of it.
Yep.
That's amazing. That's great. I'm so glad I found you. Let's just say it's hard to find people who know what they're doing. It really is. It's just such a skilled, amazing gift that you have. So for doing that, people like us who just don't get it.
My pleasure.
So, yes. Okay. So before we say goodbye, I have a boot camp coming up, like all my little signs here. So if you guys want to get in on my social media boot camp, you can just let me know about that. It's Rock Your Business on Social Media. And Allie actually is going to donate a freebie for the digital swag bag. So it's over a $300 value for the first 20 that register. So when you click the link, you'll see the social media boot camp, all the details. It starts May 15th. It's 8 weeks long. There's 8 modules. You scroll down, you'll see payment plans even weekly. So if any of you are like, oh, I can't afford it, I'm going to call BS on that because you can find the money if you really want it. And in the 8 weeks, I'm going to teach you how I went from 250 followers on social media to over 100,000 in a year and a half. And then it's everything. So if you want to learn about like content creation, leading a team, Instagram, personal branding, it's just the whole thing. There is the digital swag bag will be for the first 20 people. And it's the last one I'm teaching live. And like she said, with the accountability piece is huge. Every week you have action steps to implement and not just learn, because I want you guys seeing results on it. And then I'm going to turn it into a course and sell it. So this is the last one I'm doing live. If you guys want to jump in for that, I'd be honored to have you. So
that's awesome.
What we had for you guys today. I'm so excited. And she'll be putting a freebie in there. So thanks for doing that, by the way.
My pleasure.
I'm so excited. And thank you for being on today. You're just amazing. Give her some little love hearts, guys. But I will have you back, girlfriend. And I'm just so thankful. So have a great rest of the day, everybody. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.